What is going on, everyone? It's LFC Transfer Room here, and it's a sad day for me. I think it's a sad day. Mr. FA Cup, as Jurgen Klopp calls him, is leaving the building. He's going to Monaco. Yes, we're making a profit, but we always make a profit. So we're going to talk about that a little bit today, and then we're going to talk about some unpopular opinions, and we're going to see what these guys think Liverpool should be doing that they don't think that they want to tell to everyone on a normal basis. So it's a little bit of a fun stream. And obviously, if you've got an unpopular opinion about Liverpool, please put it in the chat. That's what we're here for. Jack, 2 days in a row. How are you feeling, mate?
Feeling good off of the devastating defeat of yesterday's 57 to 47% vote split on the Salah stream. It was a fun one. I enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was fun with Charlie, as always. Go check it out if you want. I think it's got a good replayability. It's not just a exclusive live stream. It was a pretty good discussion as well. But yeah, James, I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Yeah, not bad. I think if you look at the comments, since we did the live, when you look at the after comments, I think there's more people siding with you than with Charlie, if you look at it from a comment perspective. Owen, you were saying earlier, prom yesterday. God almighty, I feel old. How are you doing, mate?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks. Yeah, I'm pretty knackered today, but yeah, buzzing to be on here. And yes, it's going to be a great stream because there's lots to talk about after the Liverpool transfer-wise. It's quiet, so today's going to be a great day.
Yeah. And Damon, finishing on you. How's your day going? I'm assuming you were at prom last night.
Yeah, my own. Just my own. Me, myself, and I, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all right. Mate. Weather's been all right again today, but it's chucked down in the last couple of hours. But what do you expect? It's England, so a bit boring though with no Liverpool news, and it's kicking off in everywhere else and the other clubs, but we're finished, haven't we?
Did you guys see the news that just broke from Ornstein, by any chance, that Jorge Mendes met with Todd Boehly about Cristiano Ronaldo going to Chelsea?
That'd be hilarious.
That would be hilarious. That would truly be the funniest transfer thing that's happened in the last half decade. That'd be funny.
We're going to start with Minamino, though. And obviously, he's leaving for more regular football. I think is what, he's been quoted as saying he wants more regular first-team football. And you can't deny someone that. But he played over 20 games for Liverpool last season. Jack, do you think it's the right choice to go be the main man somewhere?
For him, yeah, 100%. I mean, he proved this year that he could be the bench player. I mean, if you ask someone at the beginning of the year, what's a good season for Takumi MINAMINO, and you probably would have said half dozen goals, a few good moments. He really exceeded expectations and had, by my accounts, a 10 out of 10 season for himself. Because people will have their own thoughts on how Liverpool's season as a whole went. Mr. Owen here, I think, what did you say, a 3 out of 10 in the end of the stream?
I said 7 out of 10. Everyone's taking it in context.
No way you said 7 out of 10. I swear it was like a 3.
I'll find the footage.
All right, find the footage. I'll believe you for now. But I think he had a fantastic season. And for him to do that, what would he do next year that would improve from that? It's hard to improve from that, considering he wouldn't get more game time. So I think it's the right call for him. For Liverpool, I think it's a bad decision. I think that if we're not going to sign anybody to replace him, we're taking a big step down in terms of our backups, and the drop-off becomes even stronger, even higher. So I don't know. I'll miss him. I thought he was a good player. The quality isn't going to be a devastating loss, but it's more so just that we're not signing a replacement and there isn't an immediate one at the club. So good servant. I think he's cult hero rather than the legend status a lot of the current crop are. So great season. Good move for him.
Yeah, Damon, I'll come to you next just for your opinion on it. But I think we wouldn't have won the FA Cup. Was it the League Cup? We wouldn't have won the League Cup unless he scored that 94th minute winner. He got us through most rounds. I think he was the top scorer for Liverpool in both competitions. Are we now just saying, no, we don't care about them now, we've won them, we're just in for the big prizes again?
I think the problem with Taki is just not that level that Liverpool are right now, is it? That's the problem with him. He did his job. He got, 7 million we got for him, and he's done everything that he can do for 7 million. I mean, you look at Robertson for 8 million, he's done everything and more. So it's a bit unfair to put Taki down because of that. It's just not at the level that a Liverpool are right now. Man, 10 years ago, it'd have been a perfect signing, wouldn't it? Under like Rodgers and stuff like that. But at the moment, it's not. It deserves first team football. It's just not going to get that at Liverpool. But I'm surprised with the Origa going and Taki going, but yet we haven't really brought anyone in for the right hand side to really replace Salah, and that's kind of a worry in a way because I don't want to see Ox out there. I know Elliot can play there, but Elliot's mainly trying to be pushed into the middle, into so. Good luck to him. Good luck to Taki. I think he'll do well. Like Jack said, I think he'll do well at a lower team in the Premier League. Sorry, he's got to Monaco, but he's got to Monaco. Yeah, I think he'll do well with Monaco. I said that last time with Ben Yedder.
And I think that's an interesting one. Obviously, he's chosen Monaco. I think Monaco play European football, playing every week. Owen, he could have gone to a Premier League club and probably earned more money. Probably not, actually, because you don't pay tax in Monaco. So, do you think it's a footballing decision? It's not a monetary decision?
Yeah, it's definitely football. I don't know how much he's earning. Wait, where did Monaco finish in the league table last season? Were they up there?
I think they came about second or third or something. I think they started off poor and then they came up quite.
To be honest with you, I'm surprised he's gone there because I'm not an expert on Monaco or anything, but I'd be surprised to see him play week in, week out for them. He's a poor man's Luis Enrique, isn't he? No, Luis Alberto. Sorry, Luis Alberto.
I was gonna say it's a left back.
Yeah, Luis Alberto or Argaspas. He reminds me of someone like that. He was just going to sit there and just not play. And yeah, all right, he did in the FA Cup and League Cup, but ultimately he's had the opportunities in the Premier League. And unlike Jota, unlike Diaz, they've come in and shown their class straight away. And with Minamino, he hasn't been there. So look, at the same time, you can feel sorry for him. And I heard the quotes he said about kind of, he played in the games that weren't important or whatever. And I thought that was a bit kind of not hypocritical, but left a bit of a sour taste in my mouth, if I'm being totally honest. So I can understand his decision to leave, but at the same time, he can be respectful to Klopp and the rest of the club, can't he? So.
Yeah, and I know when you made it, I think we've seen it in chat as well. Monaco finished third. They finished on a pretty good run of 4 wins, 1 draw. One of their main drawbacks is they weren't scoring goals. They only scored 65 goals. Now, if anyone plays FIFA, obviously everyone loves Ben Yedder because he's got 2 feet. He's got a 5-star left foot for anyone that plays FIFA. But I think he brings something different to Monaco, Jack, don't you?
Yeah, I definitely do. I mean, Minamino is a really unique player. I don't think he perfectly suits Liverpool, but like his interplay with forwards when he's really close to them is really, really strong. A guy that I'd liken him to a lot, not in terms of necessarily their current skill or their potential, is Jadon Sancho, where really good technically, can play off players really, really well, whether it's 1-2s, just kind of reading that space. He's not great when it's kind of Liverpool's system, which kind of wants to stretch teams out a little bit. So I think with either in a front 2, I think with Southampton, and correct me if I'm wrong, they played some sort of system. It was like a 4-4-2 when he was there on loan. He was up front, kind of really able to kind of play off another player. When he's offered that, he's really able to showcase himself as a player. So I think he's a really unique forward. Like for 17 million, that's a really good price for them. For Liverpool, it's also a good price to get. It's another really well executed transfer by all parties. And I think this is kind of slightly off the topic. A big reason why Liverpool have gotten such great transfer fees for their players in comparison to other clubs is that they don't absolutely rinse clubs of their money. They get very fair deals. Like you can't really go back, except for maybe Dominic Solanke, as like a signing that really just did not.
Jordan Ibe. Pretty much any time we sell someone to Bournemouth, it's a dodgy deal.
See, Bournemouth that's just on them, to be honest. So I think like we're always pretty fair in our negotiation. So teams know that they're getting a pretty good price when they negotiate with us. For them, for Monaco, he's about as good value for money as you can get. A player nearing his prime and really looking to get a lot of recognition. Because I agree with the quote that Owen mentioned, that he definitely did play in the less important matches, and that can have an impact on him. It's time to prove his point that he's going to play in the big ones against PSG. I believe third qualifies for the Champions League directly. Maybe they're in the qualification phases, but he's going to be in some big matches. I'm really interested in how he plays out, and I don't think we should have any sort of revisionism if he has a good season that this was a bad sale. This was a great sale in terms of the money we got. I think he's going to be great for Monaco, though. I think he's got a real good chance, because I was looking at their stats. Their leading scorers, it goes Ben Yedder at 25 and then Volland at 9. So there's a big drop off. He could very easily sneak into that second group just behind Ben Yedder.
No, Monaco are very good at finding players, aren't they? They, you look at who's come through them: Fabinho, Mbappe, Kondogbia, Ben Yedder. Some really good players run through this. So if Minamino has an unbelievable season with Monaco, he could get another chance at another major club, couldn't he?
Well, he could in a way, because Monaco has still got that sort of viewership that Liverpool got. Not as much as Liverpool. Obviously, Liverpool different planet, but Monaco still have some good fans across the world. They're still well known, and they're not in a top league, but they're in the top 5 league, and they're still in the Champions League. So there is potential there for him to really show what he can do in a first team. They've produced some brilliant players. They remind me of Salzburg in a way, to Monaco.
Yeah.
Where they produce those players and they sell them on Salzburg and sort of like Dortmund sort of thing, where they produce them and then they end up being a selling club. But they've always tried to be not a selling club because they're such a rich club, and I don't know how they work it out with me at Monaco, because they've got so much money there that I think they could take it to another level, but they tend not to. They end up selling a brilliant player that they've produced, and I think Taki could stay there for the rest of his career now, depending on what he does there. And if Monaco could keep up with that ambition and push on to the next level, then I think Taki could be quite a major part of that team.
Yeah, and we've got a few, in the chat, just covering, people are worried about the Ox having to be the replacement. I think there's a lot of Ox worry, but, Gary loved Taki. He was bought on the cheap, and he was bought cheap. You think about the cheap players Liverpool have bought, where they've gone bargain basement. Asuma Asaidi springs to mind. He was 2.3, I think, million from some Dutch club. Taki was 8.5 million for an international forward transfer. It just doesn't seem right, really, Owen, that we got him for that. It kind of feels like we took the mick a bit, but he was great when he played us in the Champions League, and he's going back to the Champions League and hopefully get a good run of games going, can't he?
Yeah, definitely. I think we got kind of the worst deal when it was Haaland, Wang Yichang, and then Takumi Minamino. I think out of all of them, probably Minamino was the worst one. So, yeah, probably got the worst deal there. But, yeah, I think on the whole, at the end of the day, we've made profit, haven't we? So you can't really view it as a bad deal. He scored some important goals for us on the way. The only thing is, it's kind of, I remember in lockdown, kind of when we went to the, right after we won the league, the 2020-2021 season, going into that, I thought he was going to kind of step it up then. He scored the Community Shield against Arsenal, and I thought, right, this is his moment to kick on and cement himself in that first 11 and even in a Premier League or Champions League team. But unfortunately, it just never really worked out for him. And yeah, I think there will be a case of what could have been for Minamino. But at the same time, I think he's lacking the physicality required to play the Premier League. And that's a big attribute needed nowadays. And it's contrast to a new man who's arriving in Darwin Núñez. So yeah, I think on the whole, it's the right move for sure.
Now, I'm going to miss Jack out on this one because Jack talked a lot about this last night. But there's and interestingly, Jack threw out the number 60 million. And in the news today, don't know if people were listening to the stream, there's a few Salah rumours being, Real Madrid coming in at around about the 60 million mark. Damo, where are you on this debate? Are you keep or sell?
It depends how much for.
60 mil.
Because his wage, because
and 400
away. That's the reported fee into that he wants. The reported wage he wants is 400k. But what are Liverpool offering him is what I want to know, because 400k is 300.
It's rumoured to be, isn't it? That's the rumour. So the 100k difference a week.
I can't see them offering 300k. I can't see FSG offering anyone 300. I think they should. I think 320k. I think it could take it. I think the reason why he's not taking it is because they're far off, and that's what I think. Because there's no way he don't take 300k.
Based on the second half of last season, though, is he worth 300k though? Really? And I know I absolutely love Salah.
Mane is on 360.
Yeah,
it's difficult, isn't it? If you're going to go on last couple of months,
You can't take, as Jack said, you can't take 4 years and just take 6 months. Mane is on 360.
he's entered his 30s now, though, isn't he? Like he's only going to decline from here.
I think he'll just be about the same. I mean, you could have said that if he were declining throughout the year, then fair enough. But the start of the year, he was the best player in the world.
Yeah.
Up to December, the best player in the world. You don't just lose that overnight and then that's it. You become declining like 4 months. You decline over years and decline over a few months. You've seen that with Henderson. He's starting to decline now. The whole year has declined, and he's going to do it again next season. I think Henderson. But
Salah playing the Champions League though. Final.
I think he's still got it. I still think he's got it. I want to keep him, but £400,000 is a lot of money, and that's me saying that. And I'm, I've always said question FSG. I'm not FSG out, but I've always questioned them and what money they're spending. But 400k is taking the mickey a little bit. I think 300, 320 could do the deal. I depends what they're offering him. I don't think they're offering him that. I honestly don't. I can't see them offering that.
We won't GTA it, Matthias. We won't GTA it. But it's worth mentioning because obviously Jack nailed the figure of what Real Madrid are doing, and we don't have any backup on the right wing, let alone selling our main right winger, Owen. I know Diaz has played there a couple of games and stuff, but I'm assuming you're on the keep or sell. I think you're on keep, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sell now.
You're sell.
Waiting for Salah to sign a new contract is like waiting for GTA 6 to come out. It's taking forever now, and I'm fed up. I think 60 million, I take it. I think there's so many good, hungry players out there who would die to be in this Liverpool team. So yeah, I think at the end of the day, no player is bigger than the club. I've supported Salah so much over these last few months. Anyone who's watched the channel will know how much I love Mo Salah, and it's nothing against him, like as a player or anything like that. But I just think that if he wants 400k a week, Liverpool aren't willing to do that, and we shouldn't break the wage structure just for one player. And FSG won't do that, and I think they're in the right here.
I want to mention something. This from Gary. Won't have the season he had 2 seasons ago. He's off the back of his second best season for Liverpool. Second most goals in the Prem, most assists in the Prem for Liverpool. So it's not like he's far in the distance. He's been bad.
It hit the highest.
2021 was unreal. He's 2022.
It's like how can we just ignore such a big body of work? And I know we're getting back into the debate.
We're getting back into it, and we're going to move on. We're going to move on. And if you're new to the channel, please make sure that you give a like and a subscribe to the channel. We make content, we make videos every day, and we're going to do something a little bit different now, which is unpopular opinions. So if you have an unpopular opinion about Liverpool, please put it in the chat. We will share some of them. I'm going to start with my first unpopular opinion, and then we're going to go around. A couple of rumours today about Timo Werner being available and Klopp being interested. And I truly believe if Liverpool were to sign him, he would turn into a world beater. I think he is made for Liverpool's system. And I think at 270 grand a week, he could take a drop comfortably and absolutely set fire to the Premier League, as he should have done. It's just Chelsea are a horror club for players who live on confidence. So my unpopular opinion is I think we should take Timo Werner.
Hey, you're spitting there. That's not unpopular to me. You're spitting.
Is that not unpopular?
No, I think to me it's not. I think
I'd switch Salah for Werner.
What? No,
that's unpopular.
Because
I do that.
Salah wants to go. Salah wants to go. He wants a big payday. Have it. I'll replace him.
Will Salah and Mane?
That's my unpopular opinion. I believe Werner, Diaz, and Nunez could set everything on fire.
I think you know what's crazy actually is I would be more confident in Werner being Salah's replacement than I would Bowen or Rafinha or anybody in the market right now. And Nkunku is off the market, but I'm more confident in Werner.
Helios, unpopular opinion. The transfer window has and will weaken Liverpool overall before the new season starts. I'm not sure how unpopular that is. I think we have been weakened.
I think we have. I think it's the will is the unpopular part. I don't even say is that unpopular that we will be weakened this transfer window.
I think we are weakened at the moment.
I think we are weakened at the moment because Nunes is an unknown quantity, and we know Mane wins games. You know,
Exactly.
number of goals for games won, number of goals for points won. Mane's third in the Premier League.
And we're losing Taki and Origi as well, their goals, whatever they contribute.
I mean, we've it's simple math. We've lost 3 forwards. We've added 1.
Bowen for Salah, unpopular opinion. I see Messi ain't as good. I kind of agree with that. Do you know what, Jack? Unpopular opinion time. What's your unpopular opinion to do with Liverpool?
The next evolution of Trent Alexander-Arnold is not in the right back spot. I'll let you finish that thought. How you want to finish that thought?
What are you thinking? He's going to take over Henderson's role?
I think if you look at Trent and what the right back can do, he's done it all. I think the next evolution for him as a player can't happen at right back. I think he can only plateau. He can only match his current level. I think you have to try him out in midfield to really kind of free him up, because right now you're pigeonholing the most creative player in the world with an asterisk. He's only been asked and only allowed to be on one half of the pitch, one side of the pitch, not even half the pitch, one side of the pitch. How would he fare if he was roaming in the middle?
One thing that helped that statement is the only person that's tried him in midfield is Gareth Southgate.
And okay, was that even in the midfield? That was like a right mid position, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was the Henderson position almost, wasn't
I
it?
think he put him into centre.
Yeah.
And if Gareth Southgate thinks that's the right thing to do, then it's not really a person to back his
I'm going
statement.
to edit your unpopular opinion then, Jack. Trent Alexander-Arnold at right back will never beat the 20 assists in the Premier League in a season record.
I don't know if that's unpopular though, because it's just so hard to do, especially for such a defensive position. For me, that's not unpopular. And I want to mention this. Trent is the best right back in the world. But do you want to get him to be an even better player? If you want him to be a better player, here's also a different way to look at the argument. It doesn't even have to be that you play him in the middle of the park. The only way he evolves as a player, you can still play him at right back. He needs to get game time in the midfield. He needs to kind of develop
replacement, yeah.
Develop a bit of a goal poaching gene.
Right wing.
I play him at right wing, play him as the right center mid box to box. I genuinely think that like it could be a really interesting option, but for me, it would have to be accompanied by a right back, which is very different. Like Fabinho played as a right back for Monaco at a lot of spots. A Fabinho-esque right back where they're defensively very solid. They can be very confident on the ball. And you almost have a back three with Trent in the midfield and then the left back kind of offering a bit of like width. That'd be interesting to me.
Damo, what do you think about Jack's opinion that, you know, Trent's done it all and there's nothing more he can do at right back?
I think he's got a lot of attributes that can back that statement. I just think it's a completely different ball game in midfield. It's a completely different ball game. You need to have a 360 division. You need to be able to cover every part of the pitch in a way. And when you're down on the right back, you're sort of limited to what you can do. I know he goes up to left back every now and then, but covers sort of like the right attacking midfieldish area, but his job's a right back, and it's a different ball game. It's a completely different. But he can see what's in front of him. His long balls are are so key to our Liverpool play, and I don't think he'll be able to do that in a midfield role because he can't see the whole pitch. He has to change his game up too much, I think, to really go into that area.
And Owen, I was going to say you don't think he's world class, but we're not going to go into that sort of debate that we had on Twitter. Do you think that defensively, obviously, you've got some concerns about Trent, so do you think a move into midfield is a more sensible option?
No, I think you keep Trent at right back because ultimately he's best when he's in his own third and he can do the long balls, just as Damon mentioned there. Plays out of trouble a lot of the time and he gets us on the counter attack. So I think Trent at right back, if you move into midfield, then that whole idea and that whole conception changes massively because then it seems just uncertain. And I think, yeah, if Gerrard comes in, maybe you try it. Maybe you try it if you're going under a different style of play. But with Klopp, you just go with what we know. At the end of the day, we won a Premier League, won a Champions League, we won so much that there's no point in real just changing it for the sake of it, trying to break records. It just seems a little bit unnecessary. And yeah, look, if Trent's playing horrendously at any stage and look, needs some change, then yeah, go for it, give it a try. But it just seems a bit uncalled for at the minute.
Helior calling an unpopular opinion: Liverpool will not win any titles next season. Now, if you are new here, please leave a like and a subscribe on the video. We make videos like this every day. There's debate rooms, chat rooms, as well as watch-alongs when Liverpool actually do have games going on. Damon, I'm going to come to you for your unpopular opinion.
Kostas Tsimikas has a very good chance of taking over Robertson as the number one left back this season.
This season? I agree Robertson looked tired towards the end of last season. What is it that makes you think that Kostas is going to overtake?
Again, I think it's when he does play, he proves a point. He don't really drop off his game. And I think Robertson dropping up, if he continues to drop off his game the way he did last season, I think he was the only poor player last season, Robertson, to his standard, to his level. I think if he continues that, I think he's going to give Klopp no choice but to drop him. Tsimikas for a number of games rather than just one.
Owen, you were nodding very quickly with that statement. Are you on the Tsimikas number one left back?
Yeah, he should have been starting last season. Plus, I should have been. Robertson was horrendous at times, looked tired, lethargic, nowhere near the left back that was the best left back in the world. That's a fact in my mind. Yeah, and Kostas Tsimikas, whenever he's come in, he's proved, like as Damon said, he's proved like he's playing for something. He's playing for that place. His crossing is phenomenal. And even Robertson, we often say, how good is his crossing? Last season, it was terrible. I don't care what anyone says. The amount of crosses he did, it didn't come off. We had to go to Trent previously for doing that, but Trent actually improved his accuracy rate. Where Robertson, every single time it would hit the first man, the corners, oh my days, every single time hitting the first man. Kostas Tsimikas comes in, and it's like a breath of fresh air. It really is around the team. So yeah, at the end of the day, just give Robertson a chance next season. But yeah, if he doesn't improve, doesn't step up his game, then yeah, you have to bring in Kostas. And I know Klopp in the past has kind of had a few issues around favoritism and kind of reluctance to drop certain players, and he has to drop that agenda next season.
If you're genuinely telling me that you trust Tsimikas in a big match over Robertson, you're a fool. You're a fool.
Informed Tsimikas over the form of Robertson last year. Yeah.
Well, that's like me on my best day versus Messi on his worst, who can control a ball better. Like that's maybe I might hold a candle.
I mean, that's still Messi, isn't it, Jack?
It's still stretching a little bit, but like, look, if you again, it's an unpopular opinion, so I'm not like throwing this at you, but if you're saying Tsimikas should have played more last year and last 2 seasons, I agree, because then you wouldn't have a burnt out Robertson. But for the big matches, the number one left back for me is still Robertson. Does that mean that he plays every match? No, because that's dumb for a system like Klopp and a position that requires as much athleticism, as much running, and we're going to burn Robertson out if we don't play him as much. So like I don't disagree that Tsimikas should play more, but I just think that Robertson's better defensively. I think he's still better creatively, but he was burnt out. I don't disagree that his corners made me lose a brain cell or two at a certain point.
I think it's all Collins on it.
Trent was terrible as well. So how on earth did we score the most corners in the league?
That's what I didn't get. I didn't get that.
That's a fake stat. That's made it. That is Pep Guardiola being proven right. The media level.
And Canate. That's why we scored the most. Because they're ruthless. Canate is going to be a beast at every corner. Everyone's going to panic about him because he's just so strong. But I think you make a really good point, because if the blend of game time had been better, Robertson wouldn't have looked tired. But then I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking, well, nobody really plays behind Trent. So we're expecting a nice blend between Costas and Robertson, but Trent to play every game.
My boy Calvin.
Is he going to be able to cover?
Have you seen the new news on that, by the way? Calvin Ramsey has been brought in as a midfielder, apparently. He's on the midfield quota by the Liverpool Echo today.
Okay, you know what? Okay. I don't hate it if it means he gets more game time. If he's being brought in to be an express midfielder, that's dumb. But if like, hey, we have a bit of game time available in the midfield, let's stick him in there so we can get some game time. I don't hate that. But I think every single player in the squad should have someone directly behind them. Robertson upped his game when Tsimikas came in. He still had his low points, but they would have been even worse if he had no one as his backup. I think that's a very fair statement you could probably make. So Trent should have a good backup. I think Calvin could be a good backup. I think Salah should have a backup. I think we should sign Salah's replacement right now. So that way he has a year to bet in. And then if he goes on a free, then it's fine. So,
but Nkunku's release clause only kicks in next year.
And I don't hate that, but the issue then with Nkunku, he's 51 million pounds. He's gonna be like, that's cheap change in this market for a player of my caliber. Give me that big upfront fee. Give me the big wages. He's gonna go make 300,000 pounds a week easily at his next club because of such a low release clause. So are we going to say no to Salah for 400 grand a week and yes to Nkunku for 300 grand a week? That's poor. In my opinion.
That's a big assumption on his salary expectations, isn't it?
I don't know how you can look at that release clause and not say that the goal of it is to get a really good contract in the next time round.
Well, or the goal is to get a really good transfer to a big club. Now we're going to move on to Owen.
Can we just go back to Ramsey? If Ramsey's going in midfield, if he's been brought in as a midfielder, then we may as well just chuck Jay Spearing in there.
I agree.
That is a joke. Like, who needs a midfielder? That would be horrendous.
Well, he's 18, isn't he? If you're going to retrain a player, you retrain him at 18 because a lot of right backs and left backs, that's not really their career path. It's just we've got a few that are world beaters in that. A lot of people move position, but they play right back and left back to get game time because they can make mistakes and stuff like that. When you're playing in the Scottish League, you can make mistakes if you're playing at right back. You can try things. You're not. Do you know what I mean? I almost think it's if they want to retrain him into a different position, they've got to do it straight away. But
I think Helior makes an interesting point here that the best passers of the ball last season were Rodri and Calvin Phillips, and so it makes sense that they're kind of like.
I think Calvin Phillips played like 2 games
last year.
Yeah,
did he? No,
he had the best stats. He was injured.
Way.
Yeah, he was injured for a lot. Yeah.
He played 20 matches last year.
No. All right, that's 50% still.
Yeah, I agree that's a bit lower than you would expect. But the reason why City are so good against low blocks and so good in general is because look at the way they pass the ball. They don't do what Liverpool does, which is the switches, the long range passes, where players have to control it down with their chest, with their thigh, with stuff like that. Thanks, Jen, by the way. Appreciate that a lot. It's all on the ground for City. They all play their passes on the ground, and that's just more controlled, and that's why they're able to break down teams down from the middle of the pitch a lot better than we can. We rely a lot more on the width and the spreading of the pitch rather than City make things super tight, but they're super great in technical areas.
City are like? They're like a cobra, aren't they? Where is it a cobra that wraps it around and a squeeze?
Yeah.
Yep.
And Liverpool more like a biting snake.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm interested in this unpopular opinion before we come to Owen's, because I know you've said something like this before, Owen, and I don't want to necessarily have this as your unpopular opinion, but Trent Alexander-Arnold isn't really converting his free kicks at the same rate, so we need a free kick specialist and someone that's going to convert. That's an unpopular opinion that we've seen on there. Owen, what do you think about that one?
That's not unpopular at all. When we had Coutinho, every single time we had a free kick, you'd get excited. When Trent gets a free kick now, I just think, I'd rather take a corner, quite simply, because every single time it's going to hit the wall, or it's going to be a tame effort at the keeper, or it's going to go wide. It's one of them 3. I know he scored against West Ham this season, and that was kind of a nicely worked routine with Salah, but majority of the time it's just poor. It's so poor. And Shaqiri, before we had him, and he was unbelievable. So yeah, we do need someone who we can have. Obviously, I don't want to just bring someone in for the sake of it because they're a good midfielder. Like Ward-Prowse, it'd be great to have him for free kicks, but at the same time, I'm not 100% convinced he would necessarily suit the team. You don't like him?
I'd have him. I think he could split a role with Henderson quite well.
I think anybody would be good enough to just kind of get him in, But any midfielder, please, God.
Just a midfielder.
Just a midfielder, please. The fact that we're not aiming for him.
Unpopular opinion, please.
Right. I'd sell Joel Matip. I think I would get rid of him now.
You're definitely gone unpopular. So why do you want to sell Joel Matip?
I thought this through, and I'm thinking it for quite a while. Joel Matip is 30 years old now. He was unbelievable last season, don't get me wrong. But this is going to be the last chance now to kind of get good money for him before he starts declining. He's had injury problems in the past. So, yeah, we could get 25, 30 million for him. And then with that money, we could then buy a sort of Konate-esque mould player there who could then help to grow. Because I think Konate, he'll be second choice centre-half this season because he was unbelievable last season. I think if he played more games, he would have been our player of the season. So, but Konate, we need to help him develop and just give him more games. And then Joel Matip, is he going to want to sit on the bench for the final few years of his career? I don't know. So I think
Joe Gomez. I still am on the quality centre back line.
I fear for Gomez. Like, look at Keita and his physical decline because of the amount of injuries he's had. It's impossible for you to suffer so many injuries and not be physically inferior. It's definitely unpopular. Look,
if he didn't have like the funny like memes and stuff, I think he would get a lot more kind of stick than he already does.
You're getting a few things like that.
I don't disagree.
Would you if a £30 million bid came in for Matip and Liverpool took it, would you be devastated?
It all depends on our reaction. This is what I've said for every single potential sale we've made is if he goes...
You're a politician, Jack. Yes or no?
I would be devastated because I love the player. And to lose Mane, to lose Origi, to lose Matip, Minamino, no respect to him, he's been here for less than those three guys. In one summer, it would be emotional. I mean, I would be devastated from that aspect. I don't disagree, though, from the footballing and the cold calculating business perspective. He's at his apex in value for the rest of his career.
Yeah. It's very moneyball.
And he would be a quality starter. I mean, think about earlier in the year. I mean, and you probably didn't partake, but people were saying him and Van Dijk are the two best center backs in the world. Maybe not in the world, but in the Prem, when we were kind of at the peak of that center back duo. I think it makes sense because then you start Konate, which I think is a better decision, and Gomez gets more game time, which you need to do for him to stay. And I think that if you do that, if our response to selling Matip is let's get Sepp Vandenberg as the fourth choice, I'm like,
well,
cry. If it's Nat Phillips,
really, I mean, we can have this a different time, but Nat Phillips versus Sepp Vandenberg, I think you're talking about heart over head because I think Vandenberg's got a bigger ceiling, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, 100%. He's really he's young. He's young. Who thought he was 6'7"? Someone thought he was 6'7" when we were talking about Sepp Vandenberg. They were like, "Oh, he's like 6'7". He's taller than Van Dijk," and I was like, "That's just not true. He's 6'2". I don't know what that is in centimeters. What you guys do in the UK?
What do you think about selling Joel Matip? What do you think about that unpopular opinion? Because you've been quiet in this one.
I don't trust FSG replacing him this season because we'll end up selling him and we're like, well, we're looking at centre back next season. That's not good enough. We did it with Lovren. We left Matip and Gomez and Van Dijk, the only three centre backs that we had, apart from the youngsters. Two of them being injury prone. It was just, and then that season we had to very unlucky not to get those injuries that we did, but we didn't plan well. And as a business, as we so rightly be told that we are, a business plans the worst case scenario.
Yep.
And we didn't do that season. If we do it again, it feels like we haven't learned anything. We're doing it now with the midfield. I feel like ever since we got rid of Wijnaldum, we're not saying we don't need a Wijnaldum replacement, but we still need someone to go in there because Henderson's not getting any younger and he's declining. We can't keep relying on the same players over and over again, and they need to act as soon as, and not wait all the time. It's always waiting. You know, it's like a doctor's waiting room.
Damon, I have a question. You know, so I agree with the statement you're making. Like, you know, we should rotate players, chop and change a lot more than we do, because that's what a smart club would do. But we have Jurgen Klopp, so who's clearly very loyal to his players, and I think we saw from Naby Keita to a lesser extent than Joel Matip, where he trusted them as they were in their lows, stuck with them, and they had some good performances this season. Naby Keita, less so than Matip, who had some really good highs this year. Why don't we cater to Klopp, and FSG are catering to our current manager? That's kind of, I don't agree with that philosophy, but what if Jurgen wants that?
I think the whole Oxlade-Chamberlain thing says a different story to me. Because there was no way.
All the loyalty, isn't it?
In his mind, no way. Not after the way he didn't play him at all, really, like Adley last season, Adley in the squad. There's no way he's in Klopp's mind. And the fact that he's staying and said there's a little bit more to the story.
Yeah, reminds me a little bit of the Sacco situation, doesn't it? Where he was playing, he was getting, and then just suddenly, bang, never saw him in a squad again, which is what's happened to Chamberlain, which is very odd.
Yeah, I'm maybe it's an unpopular opinion that I do think Ox still has something to give.
Oh, don't you turn into that one. I thought we got rid of it when Kris left.
I think he's still got something to give. I look at the performances last season, and I think that when he did play...
You've made your first mistake by calling them performances.
He wasn't terrible. Okay, 2020, he was a Salah. He was a Salah. In 2021, when he played second half of 2021 to the beginning of this season, he was okay when he played those few moments. He had a few good matches. I think it was a West Ham match he played well in. I'm clinging on for dear life. Like
one game.
I'm clinging on to that one game. And then he didn't play. And so, you know, but I agree with Damon though. I think Ox has something to give, but Jurgen's like back and forth on that is just so confusing. Like he has a dynamic you can't get on the market. I agree with that statement actually. But then you don't play him. Like that doesn't help you if you don't play him.
That's what I think. There's more to the story.
But then, why would you keep him?
It's a decision out of his hands.
That's right. Contract,
I feel like they don't want to spend on another midfielder, therefore we'll keep him. That's what it is.
I think I think there's some player still in there. I think there is. I think he, and you know what? Like maybe this is the unpopular opinion. Like this is really the unpopular opinion.
This is really
building up.
A lot of my unpopular opinions involve that right center mid spot and what we should do with it. I think in terms of best options for that right center mid spot, best suited to play it at the club, the second best choice is Naby Keita. The best choice is Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. Think about a man you want to lead.
I'm tempted to just end the stream there.
To lead
just
the
end.
Think about what that right center mid needs to do. Okay, he needs to collect advanced positions. Ox has played as a forward. He could play as a right back. He's able to go out wide. He's able to tuck inside. He's got that shot from distance. He has it all in his locker.
Milner
got it all in his. No, he can't. No, Milner cannot.
That's exactly Milner you're describing, and you have a go. Oh, people, our fans have a go at Milner all the time.
When was the last time Milner put a shot on target, let alone a goal from outside the box, from even 16 yards, from further than the penalty spot? Further than the penalty spot for Milner.
I can't remember that. I haven't got the photographic memory.
So you're talking about Henderson
Ox is better
and
than
using
Henderson.
the name Oxlade-Chamberlain.
No, I think in terms of the talent that exists there.
He's broken. He's been injured. He's had serious injuries that I think have taken him off
Let's
the
figure
pace.
out. Let me. I'm looking at the. I love FBref.com because it lets me defend all my opinions with facts, or I can claim I can defend my opinions with facts.
Yeah, because you've got a great success in debates, haven't you, Jack?
Hey.
100% loss.
You're pushing it.
That's the next video sorted, isn't it? Oxlade-Chamberlain.
Wait. How many?
Jack just takes the indefensible opinions.
He made 17 appearances last year in the Prem. That's unbelievable. No way he made that many. That's a lie.
How many
Yeah,
minutes
you're probably looking about 23 minutes in total.
Jack's like the Glazers, isn't he? It's going to be a rebuild this season. It's going to be a rebuild.
700.
Trying to prove it every time, and it's just getting worse.
785 minutes played, more like.
Which is the equivalent of 7 games.
3
7
goal
or 8
contributions.
games.
He had a goal contribution every 260 minutes.
So that's 3 goal contributions.
Yes, it was. All right,
You're
let's
just
see.
trying to twist the stats to me. Oh, every 200 minutes. So if he played the entire season, which he's incapable of doing because he's a broken
Wait,
man.
he scored against Leicester? Well, I don't remember that. I don't remember half these performances that supposedly he played 90 minutes in. All right, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just...
In the League Cup, in it, he scored against Leicester. Bobby set him up.
How do I remember this? I'm supposed to be his biggest fan. All right, I'm looking at the highlights
The
right
game
now.
where Takumi Minamino scored.
I know
Right,
the Minamino
whoa.
goal.
Stream's going off. Stream's going off.
What?
Highlights.
We're not just sitting here while Jack looks up stats about Oxley Chamberlain.
I need to defend my... Look, okay.
And we can do it a different day.
Hey,
Let's recap the unpopular opinions. We've got me, get rid of Salah, bring in Werner, we'll do better. Owen, sell Matip. Yourself, you believe there's a player in Oxley Chamberlain, because I am having that as your unpopular opinion because it's ridiculous.
All right, no. My unpopular opinion is not that there's a player in there. It's that he's our best option at right center mid at the club.
That's even worse. Damon, what was your unpopular opinion? I've forgotten.
Simicast.
Oh my god.
Costas over Robertson, which I think you got quite a lot of support for in the chat. If you want to see a debate room on any of these particular opinions, please put it in the chat. We're always prepared to have.
I'm getting my stats ready. Figure out who the biggest Ox hater is, and I will go up against them, and I will beat them. I'm going to win this time.
Oh, dear Jack.
I'm going to win this time.
He's got his Arsenal stats up, hasn't he? He's got his Arsenal stats up.
He's setting himself up to fail here. It's like...
I will take you on that, Jack, on another stream. That Oxley... You're of the opinion Oxley Chamberlain is the best option that we could have in right centre mid. That is the opinion you will be defending against me.
So what would be your starting midfield then next season, Jack?
Tyler Morton.
It'd be Fabinho,
Thiago.
Caroline. And okay. When you ask starting midfield, do you think what I would pick? Like,
yeah,
I'm developing these players. Okay,
we play the Champions League final again next season. Who do you play as your 3
for next season? See, theoretically, I have to say Oxlade Chamberlain, but the more I want to say that,
theoretically, if you believe he's the best option,
I think okay.
You're realizing what you've done to yourself.
My argument about Oxlade Chamberlain is entirely theoretical, entirely what this player could do, not what he has done.
His entire career, entirely theoretical.
What's his now wife's name? What's her name?
Perry Edwards.
That's my argument. Finished.
That's like we say, no, Gerrard was so...
than he is.
There was a compilation that was put out. I'm going to find it where it was like after one of his matches, they were like, this is a Steven Gerrard-esque compilation right here. All right, I'm going to find that. That's another one of I'm writing this down. Perry Edwards, the one compilation from that one match. But yeah, no,
Steven Gerrard and Oxlade Chamberlain.
You ask about their legacies and which one will leave a bigger one. And all I will say is one has won a Premier League title and one has not.
You've been on football Twitter too much, mate.
I think I need to go like decompress after this stream.
It seems Jack needs to have a lie down. We've had some popular opinions. Yes, today's stream's been about Taki leaving. Unfortunately, he's going to Monaco. Mr. FA Cup, Mr. League Cup, top scorer in those competitions for Liverpool. This has been LFC Transfer Room. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Jack will be defending his opinion at some point on this channel that he believes Oxlade Chamberlain should be our right starting central midfielder. So if you want to see that utter destruction of a debate, make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel, and we will catch you on the next one. Take care.